are starting to understand now is that a royal source is not an unknown person. It is the palace specifically briefing the press, but covering their tracks by being unnamed. And I think that's pretty shocking to people, especially when you realize how many palace sources, palace insiders, senior palace officials, how many quotes have been attributed to those people. Some of the most heinous, horrible things have been said about me and my wife, completely condoned by the palace because it's coming from the palace. And those journalists have literally been spoon-fed that narrative. I strongly believe that the way that the British press is showing itself at the moment is incredibly damaging to the UK.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
Prince Harry and his wife's entire lives over the course of the last decade or so can be viewed as an exercise in intimidation by the UK media. Think of all the people you know who've got strong opinions about Prince Harry, a military hero, or indeed about his wife, a successful actress. Think of all the people you know in your life who've got strong opinions about them. Oh, no, I don't like them, or I don't trust her. Where do you think those opinions came from? You can malign and demonise innocent people so completely and comprehensively that you've probably got family members who think that they have a bead upon these two characters, while Paul Dacre's personal history will be completely new to them. They'll know nothing about the man responsible for newspaper headlines that wouldn't have been out of place in 1930s Germany.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
Okay, in an episode of Britain's Newsroom on Thursday, December 4th, 2025, I stated that Thomas Markle, the Duchess of Sussex's father, brought Meghan up while her mother, Doria Ragland, was in prison. I believe this to be the case based on what I now understand to be misinformation I had seen online. I was questioned about the validity of this claim during the broadcast, and I repeated this belief, which I now understand to be false. This was a genuine error. I accept what I have now been told on behalf of Miss Ragland, that she raised her daughter and that she has never been in prison or jail. I apologise sincerely to Miss Ragland and her family for any pain my comments may have caused, and I'm happy to set the record straight.
Can I just say on behalf of Tube News, because I was on the programme that day, we all wish to apologise to Miss Ragland for the error, and we are happy to correct the record.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
I wanted to ask you also about the conversation that was had about Kate and about this just before the wedding, that there were the tears, and I think at the time it was actually
I wrote the story.
It was your story, wasn't it? And the story that you wrote was that there was an argument for the wedding regarding the bridesmaids' dresses. In fact, let's just see what she said about it. Hold on. So they are saying with your story, the reverse happened from your story.
A few things on that. First of all, as you know, I don't write things that I don't believe to be true and that haven't been really well sourced. What's interesting about them coming out with that now is, obviously, I'm well known for doing royal coverage, so at any point in time when we had published that, I would have expected to have received a phone call saying it's wrong or it's misconstrued, this mustn't be reported again. I don't know, you'd even expect editorial compliance to be involved. That never happened.
I've got to say, though, that's all addressed in that interview, isn't it? Because they said that she couldn't understand why nobody stood up for her. Nobody phoned up and said, that's not true.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, but it wasn't as if the entire machinery didn't have plenty of time on their so-so to address that if they didn't think it's true.
She also said that very machinery was part of the reason that these stories continued to be perpetuated, was because nobody within the establishment, the institution, stood up for her. They let you write these stories, but they didn't ever refute them.
I don't agree with that.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
Tell my Kate story, which I've told many times before, but I got a measure of her when she was dumped by William. Do you remember that? The Sun had the story.
The rowing, yes.
I was on the Sunday Express. I was then told, you've got to follow up on this, like phone her.
So the Sun got the story?
Yes. Duncan Larkham got the story, and it was like they've broken up, and we were like, what's going on here? Because they've been going out for years.
Was that when he phoned her?
Yes, she spoke about it in the engagement interview. She said, they admitted they did have this brief interlude where he thought maybe maybe there are bigger fish in the sea, or maybe there were other fish in the sea, I should say. And do you remember her behaviour? Her behaviour after that was to go out with an ex-boyfriend to bougies in a dress slashed to the navel.
She was sending out everywhere, wasn't she?
And wasn't that the disco with the green?
I know, and she looks,
the rowing team.
Exactly.
I think I remember saying rowing team.
She basically like wore her sexiest dress, and clearly William went, "I've made a catastrophic error here," and came back running. But the point is, in the midst of all that weekend, I was told by the news desk, as people do, "Can you phone her?" So somehow, I can't even remember how, somebody knew Pippa, who knew somebody. I got her telephone number, and I literally phoned her and went, "Hi, it's Camilla Tominey from the Sunday Express."
You phoned her up?
Yep. And she went, "Oh, hello." And I said, "Listen, I've seen the story in The Sun. I'm really sorry to bother you, but do you have any comment to make about this? Because I've been asked to try and follow up this story." And she just took a breath and she went, "Listen, I haven't ever commented about this relationship before, so I don't think I'm going to start now." And I went, "No, you're right." I was like, "Yeah, fair enough." And, just thank you. And can I just say, just good luck in life, because I thought it was over. I
thought it was over at the time.
We all thought it was over.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
I think that Harry and Meghan were much maligned. The press and the palace combined together to set the public up against them, to make William and Kate look better, and because there was too much glory going on to them. Do you remember the actual joy after that wedding, where everybody loved them, and that couldn't be allowed to continue because the royal line of succession must continue. The big machine, the big carriage has to go on. I can't imagine that Harry and Meghan would give up their life in California. Why should they? They have a very, very good life. But they can do an enormous amount of good. Because look at Harry's Invictus Games. Look at and actually it's always blame the woman, isn't it? So Meghan gets Meghan has copped it from the start, and I think she has a genuine connection with women and with people, and she's a very smart woman. And you were talking about how they spilled all the royal secrets. That there are plenty of royal secrets to come out, believe me, which they didn't spill.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
Look at the royal family. Now they're being much more open. Look at the royal family hugging, kneeling down, shaking hands rather than curtsying.
The effect is the opportunity to say we've been changed by Meghan.
Historically, the monarchy had not promoted peoples of colour into important positions within the household. And Meghan and Harry's discussion with Oprah Winfrey has shone a light on those sort of implicit biases.
Meghan even won the support of more than 70 women members of Parliament, who wrote an open letter sympathising with her feelings of intimidation.
We thought that the way that our tabloid press treats her is kind of almost neo-colonial, that she should be someone who should get back in her box, not have opinions.
This has really shown how the royal family needs to modernise, and if it doesn't, then it's going to face collapse.
By September 2019, Meghan Markle had been the Duchess of Sussex for just under 17 months. She and Harry made another overseas tour, this time to Southern Africa. Once again, Meghan connected with Commonwealth citizens in ways that other royals could not.
I am here with you as a mother, as a wife, as a woman of color, and as your sister.
Prince Harry wanted to discuss 5 different options for his future life as a working royal. One of them was living in a Commonwealth country, working on their own business plans and their philanthropy, and still serving the crown. And that's probably the one that they wanted to do the most. But Prince Charles and Queen Elizabeth II said, no, this is not an option. You're either all in or you're all out. And they chose all out.
You can just exit, Megxit, and set up your own life wherever you want to set it up, but you will not be a senior member of the royal family. And they took a big risk and said, fine, we're out of here.
I remember at the time thinking, this is such a seismic blow for the royal family because Meghan and Harry are so successful and so cool and have so much to offer. What is so rotten within the royal family that it's so bad for these superstars to walk away.
Even so, some commentators now see Meghan's departure as a missed opportunity. The royals had lost their biracial duchess, one of the few family members other than Queen Elizabeth to inspire global interest.
They could have really been instrumental in cementing relations within the Commonwealth, making the royal family still seem relevant.
A different solution at Sandringham could have helped the royals to modernize and benefit future generations of the royal family who are not in the direct line of succession.
With William and Kate's children, there could have been a blueprint there for how they might live their lives, partly as representatives of the monarchy, but also doing their own thing beyond its reaches as well.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
George, as the feds built their case against Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, they discovered emails that they thought suggested she was arranging young women to have sex with Prince Andrew. Before a 2002 visit to South America, an email believed to have been sent by then Prince Andrew asked Ghislaine Maxwell, "Have you found me some new inappropriate friends?" Maxwell wrote that she told an acquaintance in Peru to find Andrew friends who are intelligent, pretty, fun, and who know how to be friendly and discreet. Now, a document released as part of the Epstein files shows the FBI believed those emails were Andrew and Maxwell discussing her attempts to arrange for young females to engage in sex acts with him. They cited the messages while asking a judge for permission to search dozens of electronic devices seized from Epstein's properties. They showed the judge this email days before Andrew toured Peru, in which he told Maxwell, "As for girls, well, I leave that entirely to you." Prosecutors sought unsuccessfully to interview Andrew in 2020.
To date, Prince Andrew has provided zero cooperation.
Andrew has long denied any wrongdoing, and Maxwell was never charged with arranging women for him. Police in the UK are now investigating the former prince. I sat down with the head of London's Metropolitan Police following the arrest.
There's a whole range of suggested sexual allegations, and those are being assessed at the moment to see whether any of them do actually merit a criminal investigation.
Now, Andrew's brother, King Charles, is due to visit the United States this month, and when he does, House Democrats have asked him to meet with victims of Epstein and Maxwell, saying they want to tell the king directly about the ways powerful individuals and institutions failed them. Guys?
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
The scandal involving Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor has deepened for the royals. Court documents suggest Buckingham Palace has known for years about allegations the former prince was sharing government secrets when he was Britain's trade envoy.
Tonight, Buckingham Palace is under the spotlight. Court documents revealing 30,000 emails were handed to the palace 6 years ago, alleging former Prince Andrew was sharing confidential government information while working as the UK's trade envoy. The emails provided to Lord Chamberlain in 2020, the most senior officer in the royal household. The former prince is being investigated for misconduct in public office, including sexual offences linked to the release of the Epstein files. Accused of sharing sensitive government information with business contacts, including the convicted pedophile. Explosive emails believed to have been taken from a personal business contact of the former prince provided to the palace after this interview.
I don't recollect that photograph ever being taken.
And you don't recollect having your hand round her waist in Ghislaine Maxwell's house?
An interview that ultimately led to the then Duke of York stepping down as a working royal. From the palace tonight, since there is an ongoing police inquiry concerning Mr. Mountbatten-Windsor, it is not possible to provide any comment on these matters. These emails raise questions over who knew what and when, and why the King's brother was allegedly protected for so long. The former prince denies receiving personal gain from his role as trade envoy. In London, Isabel Mullen, 7 News.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
I think it unveils an unholy mess, really. The palace have said they hope it gives context to the renting out of royal properties and royal finances, but I don't think it does, and I don't think it explains it at all. What we have learned is that Andrew was, under the terms of his lease, allowed to sublet 3 properties on his vast estate, his 30-room mansion and the surrounding area at Royal Lodge. Now, he paid virtually nothing, a peppercorn rent, for living at Royal Lodge, and yet he was allowed to sublet. Now, royal sources are extremely keen to point out that it was a private arrangement between Andrew and his tenants, the terms of which we do not know. It was allowed, but we don't know how much rent was paid. Apparently staff and retired staff lived there, and the rent was, quote, for running costs and maintenance of the properties. Well, if that's the case, and if the palace want to be clear about it, well, then let's hear it. Let's hear the figures. How much was spent on the running costs? How much was the rent? Was there any surplus? And if so, why was Andrew allowed to keep it? And what did he do with it?
Jenny, this is so interesting now, isn't it? Because you and I have spoken over the past few years, and we've seen sort of more and more coming out, the royal family trying to be more open with stuff, of course, from don't complain, don't explain. We're now in this world where, you know, someone like you, who's former royal correspondent, is now demanding for more information from them. Why are we at this point? What do you make of this point? And will they listen?
I think they've got to listen. We're at this particular point, because of the scandal over the former Prince Andrew, that has provoked a demand for more accountability of where he got his money and how he lived. And once we discovered that at Royal Lodge he was paying virtually no rent at all, there is a public demand and a media demand for clarity on all the other properties, including, for example, Edward and Sophie, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh. Much admired, important members of the royal family, but they too operate on the basis of a peppercorn rental on their vast mansion. They did put money up front, as did Andrew. It's clear we should say that. But they also rented out part of their property until a few years ago. And what they did with those profits, we don't know. And the point of all this is these are part of the Crown Estate. The Crown Estate is an independent commercial operation which must be run for profit, and that profit goes directly back to the Treasury. In other words, it's public money. And that is why there is public interest in exactly who pays what.
And as you say, we're not clear as to exactly how much has been paid and how much has been made. You know, are we right to think that this was over 20 or so years that he was able to sublet it like this?
Yes, he was. And I think that when this comes to the Public Accounts Committee, because this report from the National Audit Office will form the basis of the debate and discussion of the Public Accounts Committee, which is coming up very shortly, I think there will be demands to know a great deal more about exactly what has happened here. And not only with Andrew, but with Beatrice, and usually not working members of the royal family, but live in parts of 2 royal palaces, part-time, apparently rent-free as well. Now, that money is paid by the king. It gets very complicated from his private income, which is the Duchy of Lancaster, but this reopens and reignites the whole debate about what really is private income, private money, and public money. If we didn't have a king or a Prince of Wales, then the Duchy of Lancaster and the Duchy of Cornwall would be in public ownership. It wouldn't be private income for them. So it gets very murky, very difficult, and I think this is only going to get more complicated for the royal family and the monarchy as the Public Accounts Committee starts its sittings. And I think the demand is now intense for absolute clarity. It's no use telling us things are private, a private arrangement, when this is all in the public domain now. We need more transparency.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
I think the popularity of the royal family has been in a slow decline, not helped, as you could imagine, by the situation around Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and the revelations that have emerged around his relationship with the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Now, that has been incredibly damaging for the royal family, for its reputation and for how it is viewed.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half. Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
What should he have said to the king yesterday?
Oh, total agreement with him. Because I was in India, this was about 15 years ago, and I met with historians there. They stole all the artifacts, not just in India, all over the world. They refused to give it back. So they have the king and the queen, you know, the royalty, they're a bunch of deadbeats, slackers, the worst welfare cheats in the world. So the countries ask, you know, could we have our artifacts back? And they say no. Meantime, India, they had 2 million volunteers join the king's army in World War II to defend the crown. 100,000 casualties, many more injured. I think the least that the royal family, the royal stiffs could do is not stiff the Indian people, but they do it, and they don't think twice about it. And they should have met with the Epstein victims. Oh, we don't.
Well, here, yeah, it's a tough time for the British royals right now.
Well, you would have never known that the way they were treated. You know, it's our anniversary of our revolution, so we wouldn't be bowing down in front of the Union Jack. That should be celebrated. Nathan Hale, I have only one life to give for my country. They hung him, and now we standing ovation. Oh, and then what about all the liberals and progressives? No kings, no kings. Oh, the king, the queen. They're fake, phony, fraudulent fugazes. I hate the king, I hate the queen. They should do away with the royalty. And remember, that's who we broke away from in order to have this great country of us. We spend more time celebrating the king and the queen than we do our 250th anniversary. Shame on us. Shame on us.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
Are you effectively saying that the argument that the palace are putting forward, that the king and queen, of course, who's a profound campaigner for victims of sexual abuse, are you saying that you think that the reason they're giving that would potentially prejudice the ongoing legal investigation here into Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, who denies all wrongdoing, are you saying that's a bit of a fudge?
No, I'm saying it's ridiculous. I'm saying they would be laughed out of Parliament and they'd be laughed out of an election campaign in America. I think the king, I've seen some of the clips. It's like they'd never been asked questions by the press. It would be embarrassing. They wouldn't get 2% of the vote if they had to actually campaign. Here's the problem. They're not above the law. They're not any better than you or me. And look, the media is going to make this the focus of a lot of his trip. And I know the president is enamored with the monarchy. The president's 80 years old. Like, think about people my age, 50 and younger. You think we're enamored by that? Absolutely not. So I had respect for the king in terms of his climate advocacy and other advocacy, but he would make a total blunder for the entire British monarchy if he does not acknowledge the Epstein survivors.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
Everybody that was very powerful. So like if you were on the scene and you were powerful, like to be honest, like if you're not in those files, it would be an insult because it just means that you were a bit of a loser.
Right. So the people who aren't in the files are losers.
Yes.
Okay. Are you in the files?
Well, of course I am.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
The Epstein files are going to get released?
We hope soon. FBI's been.
Okay.
So.
Any dates?
No, you know what it is? There are tons and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. So they have to go through every one.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
Good afternoon to you.
Well, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm fine. This lady right here next to you?
Melania Knaus from New York, from Austria.
Hello there, Melania. Nice
Hello,
to meet you.
nice
to meet you too.
Are you here to buy Churchill Downs by chance?
Well, I'm certainly looking at it. Certainly beautiful. I can't imagine a better investment. I'm here because a friend of mine has a horse racing today.
Good afternoon to you.
Well, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm fine. This lady right here next to you?
Melania Knaus from New York, from Austria.
Hello there, Melania. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Are you here to buy Churchill Downs by chance?
Well, I'm certainly looking at it. Certainly beautiful. I can't imagine a better investment. I'm here because a friend of mine has a horse racing today.
Good afternoon to you.
Well, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm fine. This lady right here next to you?
Melania Knaus from New York, from Austria.
Hello there, Melania. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Are you here to buy Churchill Downs by chance?
Well, I'm certainly looking at it. Certainly beautiful. I can't imagine a better investment. I'm here because a friend of mine has a horse racing today. Afternoon to you.
Well, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm fine. This lady right here next to you?
Melania Knaus from New York, from Austria.
Hello there, Melania. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Are you here to buy Churchill Downs by chance?
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
Okay, so there's a rubber glove right there. And at this location, someone was recovered at the end of August. Right over here is a whole bunch of human remains, ID, cell phone that they didn't recover because they don't look around. And we found this site. We came by the site to check on it because we've been to 15 sites now. And they've all had bones left behind. And this site was no exception. Tons of bones, ID, sensitive, valuable information just being left out here. We also reported this a couple weeks ago. And it's all still here. There's more over there, there's more over there, really close by. Big, significant bones. Within view of the original site. Identification, clothing, the biggest bones on the body, the femur. Just left out here because they don't come, and when they do come, they apparently grab a little bit and then they go. We mark the sites with high-vis tape, we give them reports, we give them accurate GPS coordinates, overhead photographs with forensic rulers. I mean, what do they need? Remains. So this is the work, or the non-work, of the New Mexico Office of the Medical Investigator and the Buckingham County Sheriff's Department. This is how they operate.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
James, are you saying you are more comfortable with having a family of unelected people who are born into that position, sitting in a position which is above the elected government that we have? I don't understand why you're more comfortable with the undemocratic top layer that we have at the moment, rather than reverting to a fully democratic system where we don't vote for an individual, we vote for a party.
Because it goes on past experience. So for the majority of my life, Queen Elizabeth II was ruler. Queen Elizabeth II, by the majority of accounts, was a fantastic person, did lots of charity work, relatively clear of scandal as far as I know, as far as royals go. A lot of the people that have been elected into power since I've been alive, whether it be presidents, whether it be prime ministers of various countries, have questionable at best. So when democracy has taken its course and people have been voted in, those people haven't necessarily shone a light throughout the world, whereas I think Queen Elizabeth II is looked back on very fondly, whereas our current elected leaders of various countries aren't.
So what if we had, just to deal with the fact that the royal family is a factory, right? The royal family is a massive PR machine.
It's a circus.
Right. One of the reasons that we don't know about the level of scandal within the royal family, or haven't always known it contemporaneously, is because we're not allowed to know about those things. You've seen the way that super injunctions have been imposed, the restrictions on those things. It's not because the royal family has been this clean, kind of holy, very exquisitely moral family. It's because through the system that we have, they are whitewashed. Their characteristics are whitewashed, and therefore we don't see what there is. There's a lack of transparency around that. So let's flip this then. If Queen Elizabeth II hadn't been who she was, if we had had somebody who was a bit more scandalous, would you be comfortable with that being the person who sits in a position above the Prime Minister?
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
These kids. Where is Andrew?
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
But I would love to get involved, sort of playing it and getting the opportunity to play and muck in whatever the sport. I would definitely give it a go, even if it's something I haven't tried before, because it's really fun, and I think that's one of the best things about sport is it's fun, and I think it brings a sense of enjoyment to life for everybody, whether you're watching it or playing it.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
Kensington Palace is setting up Catherine to fail. Yes, I am going to tell you why. So Kate recently went to Italy to learn more about her early years development program. A brief synopsis of that is to raise awareness that the child's first 5 years of their life is very important. That's the synopsis. Meghan recently delivered a speech at the World Health Organization advocating for stricter online safety laws and child protections. Now, this got me thinking. She showed up to study something that she's supposed to have 10 plus years of research on, and the program has only been launched for, 3 years? She made pasta and visited kindergartners, and that's pretty much what the media focused on. But I really want to know, why hasn't she addressed the UN in any capacity? Why is she never at these UN talks where all of these royal women are at? Why wasn't she at the 80th General Assembly in New York in September of last year? And don't tell me that it was cancer related, because she finished her last chemo in 2024 and it was announced she was in remission in January of 2025. The 80th UN General Assembly took place in September of 2025. All of these women here have either spoken at the General Assembly or have spoken at the UN in some capacity, including the Queen of Spain. Hell, even the future Queen, Princess Amalia, the Princess of Orange, was there. And the late Queen Elizabeth gave 2 speeches on 2 separate occasions to the General Assembly. Taking Meghan out of the equation, right, you still have the other crowned heads or future queens or princesses of Europe who have actually and continually do hardcore advocating for women's rights and children's rights. On those type of international stages, you have never seen the Princess of Wales. And she has been a member of the British royal family for quite some time. I say all that to say that Meghan is not necessarily her competition. However, the current queens and future queens of Europe are. And when it comes to their resumes, and then it comes to Catherine's resume, she is still lacking. It doesn't matter if you pit them 2 against each other. Put her up against Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden, lacking. Queen Rania's resume, lacking. Queen Mathilde, lacking. Queen Maxima, extremely lacking. Even the Princess of Orange, Princess Amalia, who is way younger than Cade, has attended more events like this than the Princess of Wales, the future queen. Shoot, even Princess Madeline of Sweden. I say all that to say the next time somebody wants to write, well, at least she will be the future queen. By what standard? Even the Duchess of Edinburgh has participated in UN activities. We can't forget the queens of Thailand, the Queen of Bhutan, the Empress of Japan for their hard work as well. And don't even get me started on the work of the late Diana, Princess of Wales, because out of all of the women in the British royal family, aside from the late Queen Elizabeth, she did the most. All of these women and the ones I mentioned are truly the definition of a working royal. Kensington Palace, you're in danger, girl.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
Her surgeon was the same surgeon who operated on Pope Francis. Is that right?
Exactly. As a matter of fact, as a team of surgeons were flown in secretly for that first, you're absolutely right, the first abdominal surgery, which she thought she was getting for a benign condition. And, Pope Francis had his the same surgeons who'd operated on him for abdominal problems that he had. Were flown secretly in and operated on her at the London Clinic, which is a very famous hospital in the middle of the
Right. Before we get to that, Christopher, I want to go back to the very beginning of this story, which I just find fascinating because this was a rare misstep by the palace in every way, the handling of Kate's illness. A team of surgeons, you say, were flown in to operate on the Princess of Wales.
Right.
From how many countries? How many surgeons were there?
No, this was from the Vatican. These were the surgeons who were.
Are these private surgeons at the Vatican?
No, they're attached to Gemelli. They're technically with the Gemelli Clinic, which is a famous cancer clinic in Rome, but they are assigned specifically to the Pope.
Do we know how many surgeons were in the operating theater when Catherine had her surgery? 3, and how long that surgery took?
That I don't know, but
let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half. Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.
And since the full-scale invasion, the Ukrainian people have done something extraordinary. You have adapted, you have endured, and you have held the line.
Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half. Let's give it a quick drop and split the orange clean in half.